Rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. O Allah, open up the door of wisdom on us, make our work easy, and remove the utterance of my tongue so that people should understand. Some years back, there was a research which has been happening in Japan. And that interesting research which they have conducted, they had some of the driving theme into it. And the reason they have tried to identify what is the reason when people take interest in some sort of sports. What is the reason? What is the driving mechanism for these people when they started taking some more interest in the sports or games? Now, if I ask you this question before answering what was the interesting finding which has been emerged out of this research, I pose this question to you. Now, my question is, if you think about yourself, there are some sports or some games which you like the most, but there are some of the games, some of the sports which might not be at all vibrate very closely with your heart, or there are some sort of games and sport which you hate to watch as well. Now, what is the reason? What is the reason that when you take interest in some of the games, what exactly is the thing which attracts you towards that? So if you reflect upon some of the games which you like and some of the games which you didn't like, I'm going to reflect upon what that interesting research has identified. That interesting research has identified that people take interest only on those games, in which they are familiar with the rules and regulation of the game. I repeat, they like that sports, they like that games in which they are familiar with the rules and regulation of the game. Now, you just reflect upon that. For example, I'm fond of having a cricket, and I know each bit of its rules and regulation. But that American rugby, I did not been very well, enjoy that at all because of the reason I'm not familiar with the rules and regulation of that game. So what exactly is the criteria whenever we talk about that? What exactly is the thing which engage us with the purpose? What is the thing which engage us with the company? What is the thing which engage with our processes? So one thing we have to ask this question, my dear friends, are we being familiar with the rules and regulation? Are we being familiar with the concept behind it? The second thing they have identified in that research, that all the games having a goal orientation, it has a clarity of goals and objectives to achieve. Now, if I ask you, if you imagine you are standing in a stadium which are full of raving, the audience is there, the people are engaged, they have been enjoying it. I bet on to that. If I remove just one thing out of that process of a football game, you cannot enjoy, you cannot even sit for a minute over there. Now, what is that? So, if I remove just one thing, what is that? The thing is very clear, my dear friends. If I just remove the goal post out of football ground, my question, are you going to enjoy it? Are you going to stay for 90 minutes? What you are going to see? You are going to see the people are taking the ball from one end and they are just been moving on to the other, and the same team, the same skill set, the same enthusiasm, but you cannot enjoy a single moment of it because you see what is this nonsense is going on, because the people are just moving around with the goals and moving around in circles and there's no objectivity into it. What about if you are watching a tennis match and if I just remove the net in between? What about the basketball? I remove the basket and I say just play the game. What about the golf if I remove all of these holes around? Are you getting the point what I'm trying to say? Every game has a goal orientation. Now, how much is a big dilemma for us, my dear friends? How much is a big dilemma that we are not ready to spend 90 minutes of our time or 60 minutes of our time to watch such a game in which there is no goal orientation, but how much is a big dilemma that we are ready to spend our whole life without a goal orientation. A4 size paper and divide it in between, and on the right hand side just clearly write it down. What are the goals and objectives you have achieved up till now in your life? On the right hand side, write it down. What are the goals and objectives you have achieved up till now? Now, on the left hand side of this column, on this, write it down. What are the goals and objectives you have not achieved up till now. So on the right hand side, you are going to write down what are the goals you have achieved in your life, and on the left hand side, write it down what are the goals you have not achieved at all. So one column on this side, one column on that side. Now, think about it. Just think about a couple of your goals which you have achieved up till now. Write it down over there. Just put the hint over there and stay with me. This is the most important exercise we are going to do, because once you will go through it, you are going to distill the life lesson that if you will take away with that, you are going to have an instant change in your life. So let's stay with that. So on the first side, when you look into that, what are the goals you have achieved? So you can say, all right, I got some of my qualification, I got the dream job, etc., etc. But on the right hand side or left hand side, whatsoever the column you have put it over there, just put what are the goals you have achieved, you have not achieved up till now. So maybe some of the goals you think about, you say, oh, every year I make a New Year resolution that I have to reduce my weight. Now, every year, this resolution appear on my New Year goals. What's the fun with that? Every year. And then what about some of the goals you would like to see? All right, I was thinking I have to get my master's degree. I had a burning desire within myself, but I'm not been able to do it. All right, I would like to go for some sort of my business, but I'm not been able to do it. Now, some of the goals you have write it down on one hand side. Now, once you are having this piece of paper, my dear friend, in front of you, and you have written in this way, now take this paper in front of you and think about it. Think about it. For everything in this world, there is a price to pay. For everything in this world, there is a price to pay. Now, question is, what is the price of these goals which you want to achieve up till now? For example, you say, I would like to go for my master's degree, for example. I want to go for my PhD degree. What is the price? What is the price? Think about it and write it down. Write it down over there. So you say, all right, if I have to improve my qualification, the first price, I have to sacrifice some of my family time. I have to sacrifice some of my, invest some of my finances over there. I have to actually take some of the time from my friends and families, and I have to actually be spent on to that, so that I've been able to put some extra time, extra effort, extra finances. This is a price to pay. Now, my dear friends, when you are being able to clearly establish the price around those goals, then listen to me very clearly what I'm trying to say. Our dilemma is, which we are not being much aware of, that the goals which we have got up till now in our life was those goals in which we have established the price and we have paid the price.